Good afternoon, Tim. This is blog number 33 as part of Practicum. This week, and yes, I'm still keeping count of how many blogs this is. This week, I would like to share some interesting and exciting news, I suppose. So on Monday, we had our PD Day, which was April 8th, and we spent it at a host school collaborating with other teachers from across our board. And when it comes to PD Days, I think I've expressed this in the past, I find them extremely boring in some of the things that they are teaching us. And that is only because, and I kind of clued into this at the most recent PD Day, and it's because most of what we are learning at these PD Days are things that we're already covering at University of Windsor. So when we're talking about things like diversity, equity, and inclusion, and about massaging the curriculum, or thinking outside the box and getting comfortable with being uncomfortable, these are all some of the values and skills that you're teaching us right now. So it's very repetitious to me when we're learning this at some of these PD days. Now, the older educators get, I'll say, animated and excited over being asked to think differently than the way that they've been teaching for years, and they have a hard time digesting some of this information. But I tried to express with the table that I was sitting at with some of the older educators in my school that I'm at, that these are some of the things that you've taught us and how we can incorporate those kind of things. Because it's not as monumental as a change as some people seem to perceive it to be, especially when it comes to massaging the curriculum. A lot of concerns about assessing and evaluating because some educators are still very rigid in how they've been assessing and evaluating for several years. And I've tried to explain to them some of the things that we've been taught about how to assess and evaluate differently to meet the needs of each student. When it comes to PD days, I really do enjoy these host school PD days because I get to speak with other educators across our board. And I've made several friends, whether it's through that OYAP seminar that I did over the summer, or just doing the exchange that I've done for a day, or just meeting some educators at skill trade events. It's nice to get to know them a little bit more personally and learn a little bit more about them. So I'm growing a network of colleagues outside of what we have here at the University of Windsor. So I think that's really beneficial as well. I do take the opportunity to speak with the other auto teachers when we're at these events and talk about some of the things in their classroom. And that really does help me, I guess, not overcomplicate the things that I'm doing in this classroom, because it's not unique to me that I am teaching on an LTO outside of my broad base. I've come to realize there's a lot of educators teaching outside of their broad base on LTOs and how they approach getting through the assignment. As you can see this week, I've got a lot of cleaning supplies here. I was actually teaching auto detailing to my grade 9s. This is something that I came across the other day. It's a great little time filler to keep the students busy, and they can learn some valuable skills about auto detailing. The difference between a Meguiar's type product versus your basic Armor All, or the difference of what kind of detergents are in soaps when you're washing vehicles. And there's little things here and there that I can teach these students that they can carry on, they can use in their day-to-day life, which is really beneficial. I'm actually at a point where we are about to release midterm report cards. I had the opportunity last semester to do this, but because I stepped in right near midterms, I basically just assigned marks how I felt students were at that point in the semester based on what I observed at that point in time, because I wasn't there from the beginning, and the first 4 teachers that semester weren't inputting marks into the system. So I kind of just had to guess. This semester, I've had the opportunity of learning how to use Microsoft Excel, and I've been tracking and using a lot of data to track their progress throughout the semester. And it's been beneficial in actually really knowing where I think my students are in this class. The downside, though, with report cards coming out very soon, I've found out, and this is one thing that bothers me, I don't find out a lot of the information that I should know as a new teacher unless I'm asking those questions. And one of the things that I should be doing is reaching out to parents prior to them receiving a report card to let them know where their student is standing if they aren't progressing very well. So it's not a surprise come midterms. So I've been doing that. I've been reaching out to some parents and expressing to the parent, whatever the situation is, whether it's an attendance issue or it's a work completion issue or behavioral, whatever the case may be. I'm reaching out to the parents and I'm learning how to do the compliment sandwich very well, letting them know that I think their student is a great addition to my classroom, that their student has so much promise, but there's several areas that need to be worked on, and that as their teacher, I'm willing to collaborate with the parent and with the student to make sure that that final grade at the end of the year can be something that's satisfactory for everyone involved. So that's a big learning curve that I'm not, again, I'm shocked that I wasn't told this information prior to alleviate the kind of stress that gets put on administration if that kind of information isn't sent out to parents ahead of time. The important thing I want to highlight in this entry this week is something that I take quite a bit of pride in now, and that is I was approached at the end of the PD day on Monday from one of the OYAP coordinators at the board office that I've gotten to know quite well through my interactions with OYAP in the last several years. And she asked me if I was going to be attending the OYAP information dinner that was happening that evening. I hadn't been aware that there was an OYAP information dinner, but I said absolutely, because I love sharing my experience about the skilled trades and encouraging young people to consider the skilled trades. So this information session had 400 attendees, parents and their children, some as young as grade 7 students, grade 8 students, up to grade 12 students were at this OYAP seminar. And it's obviously, as the name suggests, it's to provide information to parents and students about the OYAP program, the benefits of it, and the benefits of considering a skilled trade. I look back to when I first started in this program, and I still remember it as if it was yesterday, where I went to do my first presentation in front of the cohort of my colleagues here, and I couldn't get my computer to connect, and I absolutely panicked, and I started to, that fear of speaking in public really ate me up at that point in time, and I beat myself up over it, and I wasn't sure if teaching was maybe the route that I wanted to be in, going down in life. And obviously, the way that it worked out for the best, because it taught me to overcome that fear. And when we did that SLP a few weeks ago, and I did it for Youth Opportunities Unlimited with the 20 adults, or that range of 14. It ranges from 14 years old to about 26 years old, 24 years old. Having to do a presentation that I created by myself was something, it was a source of pride for me, being able to do that and execute it. That was a very big confidence builder. So I was pretty proud of that. But that evening, when I was invited out to that OYAP dinner on Monday, while I was helping them set up, the coordinator asked me, would I be interested in sitting on a panel and speaking in front of these 400 students and parents? Me at this point in July of last year would have said absolutely not. This me today said 100% I'm interested in doing it. And I did it, Tim. I sat in front of 400 people and I spoke on this panel. This panel lasted for about an hour. I fielded several questions, and although I was sweating and extremely nervous, everyone thought I did an amazing job. And I had so many parents and students coming up to me afterwards asking me more information about my experiences in the trade and just experience about co-op or what trades they pursue and everything in between. And that was huge. That's huge for my development, because that's been one thing that's held me back, is the fear of public speaking. Prior to getting into Teachers College, I had so many people approach me saying that I should be thinking about doing public speaking events, becoming a keynote speaker, and all of these things. And that fear of being comfortable with being uncomfortable has held me back for a very long time. So I was very proud of that moment. In between all that, between the PD day and going to that OYAP seminar, I also stopped by two of my ex-employers that I used to work at, and I asked them if they had any sheet metal donations they'd be willing to part with for my classroom, because I want to do some auto body in my classroom, and I want to continue with some sheet metal basics, some of that manufacturing that I brought into this classroom, and they were more than willing to help out. It was nice catching up, because some of both these employers go back like 12, 15 years ago since I last worked with them. And in fact, when I went to the second employer, one of my former apprentices just recently bought the company. So he's 30 years old. He just bought an entire mechanical company. And I was talking about, teaching, and he goes, listen, if you ever have any co-op students that you want to send out this way, I'd be more than willing to take them, which is great because right now I'm teaching transportation, but I do want to get involved in co-op more and more and get my AQs in co-op moving forward. That is somewhere where I want to be. Uh, Potentially, working at the board office with OYAP is somewhere where I want to be. And I keep putting myself out there. I keep saying yes to a lot of these opportunities to get myself out there, to get more familiar, to make more connections. And I think it's paying off. OYAP has now asked me to come back for future speaking engagements. They've already asked me to come back for the summer camps if my time allows for that to happen. So the progression that I'm seeing and the self-confidence that's building within me as I go through this and I find out who I really am as a person is relieving, I guess, a relieving feeling to me. And I'm really proud of that. I don't think I could ask for more right now. Things are just falling into place for me. Now, if I could land a contract come September, that'd be fantastic too. I feel like London has a bit of an issue in our school boards, though, where they like to keep new teachers on LTOs for a very long time. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know how a lot of the politics of all that works. I know that we just cut back the amount of days that retired teachers can come back into the classroom. I am hoping that leads to more contracts come September, but who knows? Like, there's so much uncertainty. We know we need teachers, but there's uncertainty about how many lines are going to be filled in the technology field here in schools. I can't believe that we're this many months away from September and we still don't know what's going on. So that's a bit concerning. But otherwise, things are going great. I'm enjoying things right now. I'm much more confident in the classroom. I'm much more comfortable. And I still have hiccups where my PowerPoint won't work or my computer won't connect, and I just roll with it now. I have a plan B, C, D, and E at this point. It's no longer an issue or concern in the classroom for me. I pivot as I need, and that is something that is I never would have thought that I could be that person because I'm very regimented in how I approach things, and being able to be flexible was something I never thought I could be successful at. The fact that I'm at that point now, the fact that I can say yes to facing fears is something that is really brightened, I guess, my last few months experiencing all this. So that's my blog entry this week for blog 33. I'm happy to report that there's been several blogs in a row now where I'm in better spirits. And I look forward to seeing you on the weekend, Tim. We'll talk soon.